Hi, this is Johnny. Today we are going to do a teardown on Bunk and see if we could add that video card behind it right there that I bought. We're going to try to put that video card and see if that Raspberry Pi that looked like Nintendo DS Mini, which I create, and there's the video, there's a cable HDMI that's going to go into that video card, which is going to go to here. And we're going to see if we could actually mod this to a Raspberry Pi 3B. Now, here's a question is, I have people asking me why I don't mod the Arcade, the 3rd generation, or if not why, can I do a video tutorial? But here's the thing, I took the Gen 3 and put it into a Gen 2 because Gen 2 video for Galaga on this angle, it was terrible. So for example, if I have took generation 3 and put it on this generation 2 cabinet, and now the screen look beautiful, and it have Raspberry Pi, and it's using the same video card that we are going to mod for Gen 2 and Gen 3 and the Bunk Mini. So I don't know why people want me to mod it again, because this is the video that came from Ninja Turtle Arcade 2-player generation 3, because the generation 2, if you look at vertically, it's not acceptable because their left side is not good. So if left side was put at the bottom, it doesn't matter. So that's why I took the generation 2 monitor and put it on generation 3 and put the generation 3 into generation 2. So that way the angle, because generation 3 the screen was good, it was perfect on all angle. So I move it to here, and then I put Raspberry Pi in here, so it worked just fine with it. And so I did that, but yet people still want me to mod the generation 3. So we will do that later on down the road. But if you guys really cannot wait and want to see that happening, please check the video that I modded this screen called Galaga, and I modded and I put the generation 3 in here, and it shows you step by step how I did it. So if you guys could look at that, that'll be great, and that part will help you guys. Okay, all right, going back to this one, we are going to go ahead and fast forward the video, and we're going to take all the screw out and see what's behind it. And I actually want to see if I can move this lower and move the screen higher, so that way we have more space to put a joystick here. And I want to flip this wood to this way, so the spinner will be on this side and the button will be here. And then by moving this wood down, I could add more button. Instead of having 2, I could have 3, 4 buttons here, and a joystick, which will be flipped this way. So be joystick, spinner, and 4 buttons here. So I want to see if I can move this down, and that way, you know, it would be more like a Cocktail Mini. Okay, so I wanted to take this apart, see how this wood is. I want to move this wood down here, and maybe make this at the bottom, and then add an extra riser, so that way I could have more, and then flush this straight with the wood like the one that they have, the big version where they have a bottom base down here. So I want to see if I could add a riser down here and make this go down here, and that way I could add a joystick and flip this wood around. So that is something I'm interested in doing it. So I could add either Raspberry Pi 4 with the pinball, or I could make this side pinball and this side a Raspberry Pi 3. So 3 and 4 will have a buttons to switch from 2 and Raspberry Pi 4 and Raspberry Pi 3. So that's some idea that I'm throwing at you guys that you could actually do. And I could actually see the line here. So that's something I'm thinking about, because vertical screen is good, will be here, and also pinball would be good on this bunk machine. So we are going to take everything apart and see what this thing is made of. So you see if we could actually hack this. All right, so let's go ahead and fast forward this. Okay, let's take a closer look. It looked like, okay, I'm gonna take the speaker out because in order to take the controller out, I have to unscrew this. So because they added this piece of wood here, so I have to take this off. But when I take those two screws out, this whole back panel is coming out as well in the back. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead, unplug this speaker because this one is, all this is plugged into this. And this power is wood, this is wood. So in order to be safe, so nothing get unplugged or messed up, I'm going ahead and unplug this speaker. Oh, it's pretty tight. Ooh, the bottom piece is coming out instead of the white piece. The yellow piece is coming up instead. Okay, let's wiggle this one. I don't want this to come out. Let's push that one back down. Okay. Alright, so the speaker is out. So let's look at it. Let's see what's going on. So it looks like this back panel is coming with this. So when I pull this out, okay, this is what it looked like. Okay, so this piece is together because they screw this in here on this wood, so this one slide out. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so one thing I noticed that before I took this out is that this piece of wood already have, it's not, at first I thought it was just a piece of small wood. Let's go back to this. Okay, it have the whole thing. Okay, so I have enough space to maybe move this to this side, move this to this side, so that the button, this will be in the right direction. Okay, so instead of flipping this way, I just move this to this side and this one to this side, and that should work. Let's see. So I have to take this off too, because I want to move the panel. But the only thing is, if I move this one to over here, the yellow is going to be, unless I flip it this way. That will work too if I flip it around. Let's try it. So I'm going to take this screw out as well. That's weird. There's no, I didn't know I took a screw out here. When did I did that? There's no screw here. I don't remember taking a screw out here. Huh. Well, let's put this piece of wood back in here. Oh, they're stuck over here, so I don't need, this too is go here. Wonder where this one came from. I don't know how this screw was gone. There's a missing screw there. Okay, so this piece is out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. The number is correct. There's 6, 6. Maybe I did took it off. Okay. So I want the joystick to be on the right. So if I flip this around, put it over here, it's the same direction, see? Because the yellow. Now if I flip it, upside down, the black piece is here. And I don't want it to do upside down. This is interesting. This is the joystick of the bottom. Can y'all see all that? I'm gonna go ahead and unplug all this. Unplug the joystick and the spinner. Okay, so we're gonna look at the spinner this way. So all this color for the spinner, it go into this one, and the yellow, wow, it go into two. No, yeah, all this cable going to here. So Glenn's spinner might not work on this because it's a little bit different than the previous spinner. This spinner is like this. So if you was to mod this and want to put Glenn's spinner, it might not work because this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 pins here. So I don't know if this will work by changing to Glenn's spinner. So there's 6 here. And then this one is the first controller. It say X19 on this one. So the first button is, the blue is X19, and the white one is below it. The white one's below it, and this one is say star 19. So X10 and star 19. So this is star 19 below it, the white one. Okay, so all this is unplugged. So this is the joystick, but the yellow, I don't know if I could take this off because I prefer this instead of having the spinner. Well, you know what, I could actually, well, the problem is if I put a joystick here, oh, it's too close. Let me zoom back out. Okay, so right now it's set up like this. So if you look at it, this is the yellow, this is the front of it. And if I put a joystick here, which have space, if I raise it up higher, which I could, and then I have to add, instead of adding visor, I'm gonna add a wood. I'm gonna add a wood on the top, on both sides. But if I was to put a joystick here, my button is, I'd rather have the button here, 1, 2, 3. But this hole is real big. This hole is pretty big. It actually could be moved over here. So if this is moved over here, now there's no plexiglass. They just painted some kind of special protection on it. There's no plexiglass on this. So I don't know if this is gonna worn out after a period of time, because they have that same problem where there's no plexiglass and this whole thing become. Now there is one way I could cheat it, is I could cut a plexiglass, put a new wood on it, and put this over here, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 button with the joystick. So joystick, 4 button, and a spinner. Now the question is, how can we use this spinner because this is, you know, it's a different type of spinner, unless I put my own spinner in here. So it's interesting spinner that they created. It's a little bit different than the previous spinner. Okay. All right. So this is what it looked like by taking everything apart. So if you was to look at this correct direction and we zoom this in, this is the controller that we just took out. So the blue one is on top, so let's take that out because we're gonna replace this with the, and then we're gonna take the white one. This is the white one, which is the A button, the start button. Take that out. It's lifting this yellow stuff from it instead of pulling the cable out. Okay. And then this is the A. This is the black. This is from this side and this is from this side. And this button is player 1. So player 1 is on this side. Player 1 is on this side. This is player 1. And this is player 2. And this one is plugged into a joist spinner. So that is off. So this is plugged into here, and this is plugged into here. So if we're gonna reuse this, we have to unplug this. And then this one is a head jack that is plugged into this is plugged into the speaker. Let me turn this around. Now it's on out, like it's upside down. So that is the speaker. And this is the voice control is over here. Voice control, voice and power. So this is the power. Sorry you guys. Zoom in too close and you can't even see what I'm doing. Okay. So this is the power and this is the volume control. The volume control is on this side. That's a volume control and this is a power. So the red one is over here, on and off, and this is the volume control, which is this cable right here. Okay, and this is the player 1. This cable is player 1, and this one over here is player 2. Now this one is plugged in when I first. This one is plugged in when I first lift up the. But I don't know what is connected to it. It just 1, 2, 3, 4 pin of head jack. So 4 pins head jack. So let's figure out where the 4 pin is. So this is the power. And this is the speaker. All right, let's try to modify the screen first. Worry about all this later. Because I don't remember where that speaker is plugged in. Okay, so this is the screen. This is what it looks like. Let's go on top. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over. We're going to take the screw out. And we're going to see if we could put this on here and see if that works. All right, so let's do that. Okay, when I took this off, it wasn't clear because I was getting confused as how this go. So this four little hole, little pin, it actually go here when I took it apart. So it's giving it another ear plug, but this is not connected to this one. Okay, and the sound that's coming to the speaker, which the speaker is plugged into, this plug into here. Okay, so there's only two cable. So this plug into here, this yeah, this direction, the red going on this side, plug into here, and it gives this system a sound, and this sound came from this speaker right here. Okay, so here's the speaker, and this one plug into the physical speaker, the one speaker we saw, and then from that monitor it come into another cable that go into here, which give you the speaker option. When you plug it in, you can listen to it. So those are the how the speaker go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and fast forward on this and take this apart, see if we could put this in and plug in the Raspberry Pi and see if it work. Okay. Okay, let's go over this a little bit so that we understand what everything is before continue. Okay, so what I did is I toggle this cable underneath here, and that ribbon is I believe is the 50 pin. I forgot how many pins is that, and I believe it's a 50 pin, either 50, I don't remember exactly what's the pin, but anyway, I put it in here, and then there's a little red, you make sure there's a little red dot, you just go into it, and that long screw that they gave you, you screw it in here, and so that little wire is now that ribbon that go into the video card, this go on top. Okay, and this snap into that hole, and that screw go here, and that's pretty much it. I did have another video that I did with the Galaga that I go into step by step how I put this in. I know it's fast forward, it's hard to understand this, but I screw this in the little small bracket here. This side is a little bit bigger, and the smaller one go on this side. Okay, and then you put 1, 2, 3 screw. Okay, 3 screw right there. Then after that, this cable need to go underneath the bottom and come up away from the screw, not inside the screw, because if you're inside, you're blocking this cable. So you need to wrap this cable, wrap it around here and go into here. So this cable and this cable are connected, these two. So the cable go under the bottom, okay, and wrap around out here on the side, okay, and then this snap on, and this you screw this long cable that they gave you. Use the original, and then you screw this one in. Okay, and this one is you just push it in, slide into this bracket. This piece just slide into this bracket. I mean, pop into it. Okay, and that's pretty much it. And then now let's go over some of this crazy cable we have. This two that is coming out from this here are your speaker. Okay, you could use both of them, or you could use one of them. Okay, it's made to just use one of them, but you could actually use two of them. So it's a 2 pins cable, so you could plug it in for 2 speaker, like I did on that Galaga machine, or you could use it for. So this cable here are your speaker. Okay, and then here the only thing you're gonna use is this cable right here. This is for your power shutdown. Okay, now here, I don't know if you can see it, there's a pointing arrow right there. Okay, that pointing arrow is going to be the one close to your Pi. You're going to plug the Pi in this way. You're going to plug the Pi into this, close to the Pi. You're going to plug in this way. So you see that little, let me zoom in again. See that little arrow right there? I can't focus now. See that arrow right there? Okay. That one, that arrow right there, you're going to plug in to, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pin 5. 5 and 6. You're going to plug into 5 and 6. Alright, so let's get the Raspberry Pi close to us, and we're going to plug that in. Okay, so this is going to go to the, right now I'm charging the portable battery, so that counter cap will not need a battery because this is charging it. Once you get 3 blocks, this is fully charged, then you can use it. For this is Raspberry Pi 3. I went and overkill by putting this fan. So if you don't want this fan, you could just use regular fan, because Raspberry Pi 3, it doesn't heat up as bad as Raspberry Pi 4. You're gonna plug this into any of this port, is fine. At the bottom, well, you're not gonna use it as much. Okay, that is gonna give the monitor the power. Then you plug in your controller 1, controller 2 here, and this this will power the Raspberry Pi. Okay, this battery down here will power the Raspberry Pi. And this is your video HDMI out, and here's your microphone. You could plug to the size of the microphone that they gave you. You could plug that in, and then you could use the microphone instead. So we're gonna plug that cable from here and split it into a 4 cable pin. So we probably have to go buy that in order to do that, because that one is not direct cable. It's a 4 pin. Now, if you look at this, this would be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So you're gonna plug that arrow pointing down to number 5. So let's see if we could zoom in here. Okay, so right now this fan is plugged into port number 1, and this is port number 2, and then inside is 3, then you got 4 outside, and then 5. So you're gonna plug the arrow pointing down 5 and 6, and that will give you that shutdown option. Now, let me see. That Raspberry Pi, I did not set up that image cocktail. It's not set up to do shutdown. So you will have to add the shutdown script in here in order for it to shut down the 5 and 6. So we will go over that when we do the software. Okay. So we're going to plug this cable into here. So right now it's charging, so we're gonna let it charge, and once we're ready, we're gonna get a video card and put it in here to see if a video card it work or not before we try to do anything else, like get the shutdown to work, get the speaker to work. So we're just going to go ahead and plug it in and see how it goes first. That one is charging. Okay, I want to go over the spinner real quick with y'all, because just to let you know that this and this are not compatible. Oh no, I'm too close. Okay, So this spinner is using 6 port, which Glenn is only using 4. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So this spinner is giving out too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it's SE0R, which is crazy here. Here you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, but here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got ground, VOR, TX. So you got all this extra port. Maybe we could just use the one we need, because this one have 5 volt, ground, PX, and 1 TX. So you got TX, which we need, and we have an RX. So TX, RX, ground, we need those, and then voltage. So we need the yellow, blue, and white, and green. And we don't need the SE and SE1. So mainly we just need this 4 port right here. So those 4 port should plug into this enclosure, and you could plug into here. Then this spinner might work. Can y'all see that? Let me come in closer. See how this one have voltage, ground, TX, and RX, but you got the SC1, SC2. I don't think we need those two, because this one do not have that. So this one have 5 volt, which is VOD, and ground, which is the one on top, and then this one is PX, or maybe it's RX. This thing is so small. Yeah, it's RX. So RX1 and TX. So this is control 1, control 2. So you got RX and TX. So we're going to use those 4 port, which is yellow, blue, white, and green. We're going to use those 4 port, and we're going to plug it into the Glenn's USB port, and then we're going to plug this to the Raspberry Pi, and hopefully we could get both spinner to work by plugging 1 and 2. Okay, so right now it's using Glenn's spinner. It's plugged into Glenn's spinner, but we're going to use this spinner, see if we could get this spinner to work. Okay, the stock spinner, and then this will be button 1, button 2, and then we need more button as well. Okay, so let me get the video to see if it works first before we start playing with the controller, because controller need more modification and drawing holes to get more button to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the video to working by getting the video cable. Okay, instead of using this one I already have this cover on it, and I don't want the pin to show, so I don't want to take this apart, but I do want to use the SD card. Okay, so I'm gonna plug this to this one, see if it power up. Okay, so we're going to plug this into here. All right, now if you don't want to use the shutdown button that they give you, then you don't worry about this cable right here for the shutdown. Okay, but if you wanted to use the shutdown, then you have to plug this in. So we're going to plug this to here. All right, and we are going to just temporarily power this up with this Raspberry Pi Cocktail image that I've been playing with for a while, adding different chords and all that stuff. Now there's already an image in here which I had no idea what is it. It's a 400 gigabyte. Ooh. Not sure what is it. Alright, so I better not lose that. Must have something good. Alright, so everything's plugged in, but there's no power because I didn't turn the backup battery power back on yet. Alright, so I need to turn the power on, which is somewhere in here. I think that's the button, power button. Is that the power button? Oh, sorry, I didn't plug this in the right place. This power need to go in the bottom. Excuse me. To go to the USB battery. It allows you to have 2 ports, so that's good. You could plug a different object in here. Okay, so we're gonna push the button. I don't know if you have enough juice to get it started. Probably don't have enough juice. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this for now. And I'm going to plug this directly to it. To the Raspberry Pi. There you go. The moment of the truth. Is it going to work? Okay, the battery is not charged enough for me to power the Raspberry Pi, so I plugged that cable directly into the Raspberry Pi, and hopefully will boot up the. Okay, the video work and the spinner work, but not the original spinner. The original spinner do not work, so it doesn't matter what sequence I use. I try it, it did not work. So when I say the original spinner, meaning this one right here, this spinner will not work with Raspberry Pi. I tried to figure it out using the port here, where they have the voltage, ground, TX, RX, and I didn't use those 2. And then I tried to use those 2, it doesn't do nothing either. I took the voltage and plug it to here, it still didn't work. So I mainly use those 1, 2, 3, 4 and plug into Glenn's little USB chips back there, which is right there, and it didn't work plug into here. So I used this one, which came with Glenn's, and this one worked just fine. Okay, now you do have to change the jumper to all facing, yeah, all have to be facing the same direction, which is mine is all push up. So if you was to use Raspberry Pi, you have to push all of them up, which is on. Okay, so you press those pin up. Okay, so I plug it to here. It did not work. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I didn't try this 6 port, but this 6 port is for something else. So not sure what those 6 ports do. Anyway, it worked with that one, but do not work on this one. So sad to say is we cannot save the spinner, even though it worked fine with the game that come with it, but this, you have to replace that. So that's the bad news. But anyway, most of the arcade stuff doesn't work that well. The button is so. I prefer the one with the light up LED color, so I'll be replacing that as well. And so I don't know if I'm going to keep the wood or replace the wood. Not sure yet. Alright, so enough of that. Go back to this game. Now the two things we were going to test is the sound control. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in the screen. I'm going to show you from the side right here. The side control, I have it plugged in, so I'm going to turn the sound down by pressing that. You see the sounds going up. Now there's no sound. Okay, so I'm going to press the right here. I have the sound here. Press up. Now the sound is up. Okay, I'm going to press it down again. It's down. Okay, and here's the speaker that is plugged in directly to the back of this video card. I plugged both of them in. Okay, so let me show you real quick on the template. Okay, so if I was to press start the template, and I'm using this controller, which is from Glenn's, it worked nice, and it's metal and it's very durable. So let's zoom in the screen. Somehow my light is not doing its justice. Alright, that's more like it. Okay. I think I didn't zoom in too close. Okay. So I'm gonna press select and start. And right away the joystick is already working. So you can spin forever on Glenn's trackball. It's very nice, easy to control, and it's fun to play with. Where if you was to use the other one, it's not as fun. See, that's how you should be playing. Just one scoop is turning on like crazy. See that? So yes, this is a better spinner to play the Tempest than the one that came with it. Okay. Alright, so that's a demo of that, and let's get out of the game. So the video and sound is working, so let me show you in the back how it was plugged in, so you could see what I did. Let me turn the light back on. Alright, so let me lift this screen back up, and so you can see how it was plugged in. Alright, and let's see if it's I didn't have to adjust it correctly. Okay, now I'm more like it. Okay, there's the ice tower, which is, this is only Raspberry 3. You don't need an ice tower for it. And this is a video card that go into the video card, and that's not. Let me change to a different. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so this is my speaker 1. I unplug it. Speaker 2. Let me unplug it. See, it's unplugged. So you could use both of them if you want to. There's one. and there's 2. Okay, so those are the 2 speakers that now I just unplugged one by accident. So you want to do red with red and black, and just plug it in. Okay, and you want to turn the sound up. The sound bar is up here. Okay, so if you want to turn the sound up, you just press it down. Oops, I just turned it off, wrong direction. So you could get the sound real loud. So I think that's the maximum loud, the sound. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty loud. And then we're gonna turn it off. So we're gonna turn the power off by pressing this button. Okay, so now the power is off. All right, so the shutdown button does work with the bunk, and to turn it back on, I just press down and just press down and come up. So, but like it say, for some reason this video is kind of reverse direction. So you will have to, because the off is on is off. It's the same way with the generation 2. So yeah, this one works just fine. So this video worked just great. So reason I'm using this image is to test the spinner, see if it works. So the spinner does work over here. I got it very loud. So let me turn it down. So that is the loudest it gets. And even though it's the loudest it gets, it's even louder than the bunk itself that came with the stock firmware. So yes, this will be a pretty good successful video demo. So what I need to do now is I wanted to, where I don't want the controller to be, right now the controller is, for example, let me give you an example what it look like. So I think I did it previously before I took it apart. Okay, so what I want to do is I don't want the controller, I don't want the screen to sit right on top like this. Okay, I don't want it to sit right on top of this, like so. Okay, I don't want it to sit like that. So I want to add a piece of wood underneath here straight across and lift this up higher so that I could put a joystick and a joystick, 4 button, and maybe have room for a spinner and have it like this. So it will look more like a mini cocktail instead of flat right like this. Okay, so I'm gonna lift it up, see how long the joystick will be, depending how high I'm gonna lift it. So this is a good example where joystick's gonna be how high I need to lift it. So if this was a cocktail and this is a joystick, it'd be like this. So I could play it without hitting my hand toward this. So I need to be a little bit higher, like so. Okay, and then I could play my game without having an issue. Can y'all see all that? Ah, shoot. Sorry. Here you go. So what I'm saying is that I want to lift, I don't want to sit down like this. I want to lift it up so then I could play the joystick without hitting this and the button over here. So I'm going to put a piece of wood and a piece of wood sideways, a piece of wood down here to hold this up and I'm going to have the button here, and then I'm put the Raspberry Pi in the middle. And that's what my game plan is going to be. Okay, so we will come back for a second visit because this video is very long already. So we're going to come back and do a second visit about how I did the hardware and the button and everything. But right now it's just to test out the video, see if it work on the new Bunk Mini, and with the Raspberry Pi image work as well. So the shutdown button work, the speaker work, the voice control work, and it seemed to be just great. So now the shutdown button, like I say, the one with the arrow need to be on pin number 5. So let me go ahead and shut it down and I'll show you what I did. So I'm gonna go up and to shut down, and then down is to turn on. Okay, so this is what I did with the pin with the Raspberry Pi. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the Raspberry Pi, and then I could bring this one over. I'm gonna unplug the video. Unplug it directly from unplug it directly from here. That's fine. Okay. Everything is pulling down. Uh-oh, I'm pulling something I don't like. Let me unplug the shutdown button. Okay. And the voice power button and voice control. Alright, so that way I can lay it. Let me turn off the monitor button. Alright, so put this to the side. Okay. Well, I can't put it on the side for now. So lay it down like this. Okay. Alright. So let's bring this closer and let's talk about the pin. Okay. So what I did is, now everything falling down. So what I did is, this is the shutdown power, and this one you plug into the shutdown button. Okay. So this one you plug this button to the shutdown button right over here. You connect it together. This one you connect the voice control, which is 3 button, and you just plug it in. So it's a perfect button plug in. Now the second generation, we don't use this tool, we use this one. Okay, we plug the second generation directly here, and that covers everything. This one we have to plug the red and the voice on this button, voice and the power. This one, they both are red color, which I wish they will use different color, so you could tell the difference in which way you're supposed to plug in. Okay, so the one way to remember is you're gonna plug into number 5, number 6. All right, number 5 is the one with the arrow, and number 6 is the one toward this side. 5 is this way, so you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, on the pin. So let me unplug this and show you where my shutdown button is plugged in. So I can't lift it up higher. So right now I'm plugging like this, correct? So this is the 5 and this is the 6. Now with the arrow is the one with the 5. Okay, so let's see if we could see that. See, there is a black, whole thing is a black, okay? But there is an arrow on top of right here, a pointing arrow right there. So that's going to be number 5, and then the one without the arrow is going to be number 6. So you're going to plug in, find this on top, and the 6 over here. So you're going to plug it this way. Okay, so this is very important how you plug it. So with the arrow, you're going to plug into 5. Without the arrow, you're going to plug it to 6. All right, that's pretty much it. And this thing got pulled, so this came off. This is just a okay. So the speaker go to this two sides. This is gonna be your speaker left, speaker right. So this is your speaker, and you just take, what I did is I buy one of this. This is pretty, this is good enough, loud enough. And you just have, it come with, you pick what you like. I picked with this kind of connection, with the speaker. It's too dark. Okay, I bought the speaker, and then I got this kind of connection. So I plug the red with red and black. So you just take this, okay, zoom back out, and I take the speaker from this side right here where there's red and black. Okay, so red go with red and black with black, and just plug it in. That's it. Now if you don't want it to loose by accident, you pull it, put a electrical tape around it, and then so it won't move. Put electrical tape around here, and then it was stable. And then you just decide where you want to put the speaker at. You know, you nailed it. You want to face down, you know, put holes or whatever, and you can put the speaker on the sides, or whatever, how you want to do it. So that's pretty much it. Okay, this is pretty much, you're gonna do this with generation 3 as well. This is pretty much is a generation 3. Generation 2, you plug the cable directly to here, like the one over there. You just plug it in directly here. You don't use this 2 cable. Generation 3, you're gonna use this 2 cable instead, and it worked just great. And the speaker just fine. And once you plug the sound into here, you could control the sound with the button that came with the Arcade1up. And if you plug the power to this, you could turn it on and off. So this video card is very nice, and you could plug the power directly to Raspberry Pi using the blue cable. But right now I'm using the blue cable for my spinner. You know, that blue cable that come with the video card. I'm using it for for plugging in my USB spinner. Okay, so this will convert the cable to USB, so you just plug in directly here, and then you could just plug the power from here to a micro USB to a USB-A. Those are USB-A. You just plug that to here, and then it will give power to the monitor. You don't have to have an extra power for it. Only power you need is the Raspberry Pi that you plug to. There's a power switch on and off. Just plug that to the wall, and that's it. So yeah, so I'm going to measure the wood and build an extended height, so I could I'm gonna cut a wood across from here to here, and I'm gonna lay it directly on top, and I might just use the glue to glue on it. So I'm gonna add an extra piece of wood here and a piece of wood going across, and I haven't decided what color I'm gonna use. So it's gonna stand up high enough to where the joystick will not hit the, when I'm up there doing the joystick, my hands on top will not hit this. So I'll make this one higher instead of flat white where the control is. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for final conclusion when I finish putting all the controller, and I'll do a separate video how I make all this come together with the button and all that stuff. Now I'm thinking about putting Raspberry Pi 4 on it and make it to a pinball machine, because the cocktail is flat, so it'll be excellent for a pinball machine. So that is a thought. I'm thinking about maybe the one side will be pinball, the other side will be the vertical game track mode. So 2-in-1. Thinking about doing that. Alright, you let me know what you think. Should I make this to a pinball machine, or should I stick it with cocktail where you can play both sides? Alright, thank you for watching. Later.